So one of my favorite things to do in the gym is to actually help people, younger guys that are just getting started in the gym, because it always reminds me of me when I first started training about 11 years ago when I was 17, had no idea what I was doing in the gym, but I was trying to figure it out. I was hungry, I wanted to get jacked and fit, but honestly, I didn't know the path to get there. Ultimately, I figured it out by myself, and I'm really grateful that I did, that I stuck with it for so long and dedicated myself to continuing to get better and better. But it's taken me 11 years to get to where I am. And I feel 100% confident that I could condense all of that experience and share with people to get them similar results as me in a lot less time with a lot less mistakes. So anyways, I love sharing what worked for me. And in this video, I'm going to tell you guys how you can get your first gains in the gym very quickly, which is exactly how it worked for me. When I started going to the gym seriously, I got great results in the first few months before I went off to college. So the number one thing that I would recommend for somebody to do to get their first gains in the gym is to do a proper bulk phase. Now, if you don't know, if you don't know what that means, a bulk phase is just eating in a calorie surplus, which means that you eat more calories in a day than what your body needs to stay the same. Typically with the bulk, you're going to put on body fat, you're going to retain a little more water, but you're also going to build the muscle. You're going to get stronger, and you're going to put on weight and start changing your body. You need to be in a bulk phase if you're natural, because there's no other way to build muscle without being in that calorie surplus, naturally at least. And I always advocate for staying natural. I always have myself, and I would recommend the same thing for you guys too. So when you're in this bulk phase, you're going to get a lot of newbie gains, they call it. And newbie gains are a really cool thing. It's like the first 6 to 12 months of your lifting journey where the gains are incredible. You can put on multiple pounds every single week. You're getting stronger almost like every couple weeks too. I miss the newbie gains because everybody has it, but it doesn't last that long. I'm talking like 6 to 12 months here. So maximize the newbie gains as much as possible by doing a bulk to complement it. And that's how you can put on 20 to 30 pounds, not all pure muscle, but 20 to 30 pounds of weight, some of it being muscle, in really a couple months. Because that's exactly what I did for myself. I started training in the gym seriously like right after I graduated high school when I was 17. And that summer before I went off to college, so 3 months of time, I put on 30 pounds of muscle, or 30 pounds of weight, not all muscle, but 30 pounds of weight. I went from like 170 to like 200. And then when I got off to college, I was much different, much bigger looking than when I started just 3 months ago. That's because I did a bulk. I was eating like probably 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day, every single day. And I was training 5 or 6 times a week, every single week for 3 months straight. So that is the number one thing I would recommend to somebody if they're trying to get gains in really 3 or 4 months. And also to noticeable gains where people will ask you like, hey, what happened? Like, you got huge. What are you taking? You know, I had people like that saying that to me when they saw me when I came back home from the holidays, like 6 months since they saw me over the summer. And it was crazy. Like in a short amount of time, you really can transform your body. But you got to be in a calorie surplus. You got to be training hard, like 5 or 6 times a week at least, with progressive overload and hypertrophy style training, which just means you're doing a little bit more weight, a little bit more volume, slowly over time. So if, 2 weeks ago you did 3 sets of 8 at 100 pounds, maybe now you're doing 3 sets of 8 at 105 pounds, or even like 4 sets of 8 at 100 pounds. There's a lot of different ways you can splice it up. But yeah, be in a calorie surplus, bulk, maximize those newbie gains, and just stay committed. Like, even know that you're not going to be satisfied after a few months. You're just starting the journey. A lifelong journey that for me, it's been 11 years and I'm still going at it. So enjoy the ride and enjoy the newbie gains and make the most of it. If you guys have any other questions about health and fitness stuff or social media or anything that I do, let me know in the comments. I love sharing advice and sharing stories of what worked for me and what hasn't. And I appreciate you guys for subscribing, for liking, and we'll talk soon.